sports injuries, and more right away. With on-site x-rays and expert care, Ortho ASAP gets you back on track faster. Open 7 days a week with locations in Brookfield and Pewaukee, it's more affordable than the ER. Walk in, get treated, and get back to life. Ortho ASAP. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Brewers fans, with Us Mode from US Cellular, you can keep your eye on the ball, not on your screen. Whether you're inside the stadium, tailgating in the lots, or listening to the game at home, US Cellular wants you to focus on genuine connections with your family, friends, and fellow Brewers fans. That means at game time, you should do less scrolling and more cheering. So eliminate distractions and build connections by setting your phone to Us Mode, because game day is for cheering on the Brew Crew with your crew. US Cellular, built for us.
Get up! Get out of here and go!
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
This seesaw affair is getting old. Brewers fall in this one, a one-run loss, 4-3 to the Rays in the opener of a 6-game road trip. Little mistakes, again, plaguing the Brewers. The edge, still on the hunt for it. Extra base hits, still on the hunt for it. And the actual definition of an obstruction call with the emphasis of what we're supposed to know about when you're supposed to stand and where. And I don't know where to begin with that call. It's not the only reason the Brewers lost this game. It's a small piece, but that is not the reason the Brewers lost this game. They scored 3 runs. There's your answer. They allowed 3 runs on 3 mistakes. Home run, tip your cap. The other 3, as we'll go through the highlight recap in just a second, totally preventable. The Brewers did not play quality baseball today, and they paid the price taking a loss. We'll break it all down with Craig Kashawn in just a little bit. 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Let's jump into the highlight recap.
Ready for this?
Out of here!
This?
One of the catches of the year!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
Jose Quintana getting the mound for the Brewers against Zach Littell, the first at George M. Steinbrenner Stadium. Of course, the regular Yankees spring training home temporarily being housed by the Rays while repairs are being made to the Trop. The Brewers got out to a hot start in this one. An infield swinging bunt single for Jackson Chourio. He steals second base. William Contreras with brand new padding on his finger and on his bat cashes in with one of his hardest hit balls of the season.
3-1 is a line drive into center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Chourio racing around third. Here comes the throw home. It is cut off, and the Brewers strike first on an RBI single from William Contreras. It is 1-0 Milwaukee.
Lane Grindle on the call. In the bottom of the first inning, Jose Quintana was on point. 7 pitches, 7 strikes, even a strikeout. In fact, he retired the first 6 batters he faced in this game. We fast forward to the bottom of the third inning. A leadoff bloop single by Taylor Walls is no big deal until Jose Caballero lines a single to center, and a bad time for the first big league error for Jackson Chourio.
1-2 on Caballero, former Mariner. He swings and he lines one into center field for a base hit. First to third goes Taylor Walls, and Chourio misplays it. It goes all the way to the fence. That'll score Walls, and it's going to have Caballero ending up at third on a misplay by Jackson Chourio. Couldn't field the bounce. We're tied at 1 at the bottom of the third inning on the error.
Josh Mauer on the call. This is when things got wacky because the Brewers would respond in the fourth, left a few on the table. Leadoff walk. You know how that's how starts every rally. A walk to Contreras, a single by Yelich. Runners on first and second, and first and third, I should say, and nobody out. But then Hoskins strikes out swinging. The next batter, Sal Frelick, battles for 9 pitches and then ultimately reaches on a catcher's interference. So the Brewers have loaded the bases with only 1 out in Caleb Durbin coming to a ballpark he's very familiar with as a former Yankees prospect.
Swinging a ground ball hit to second base. This is not a double play ball. It's fielded by Loud, who is left. The only play is at first. He throws out Durbin, and Contreras does come down the line and touch home. Brewers retake the lead, 2-1 in the fourth. Caleb Durbin gets an RBI on a ground out.
The frustrating part is that's the only run they would get in that frame, but still, the Brewers take the lead briefly 2-1, but then no shutdown inning because in the bottom of the fourth inning, a solo homer from Brendan Lau tied up at 2. Now we fast forward to the sixth inning. This is where the real chaos began. A leadoff walk, you've heard that before, from Quintana. Then a single by Caminero. So the runners are on first and second with nobody out. He gets Lau to fly out, and that was the last batter that Quintana faced. They go to the man who's been inheriting all the runners, Nick Mears. He strikes out Danny Jansen for the second out of the inning. Then, in all the span of the same at-bat, chaos ensues. They try the double steal with man on the corners. The guy from first stops. The guy from third tries to score. The Brewers read it perfectly. Terang throws to third, and we're still trying to figure it out.
There goes the runner. The 0-1 pitch is down low. They're going to throw through, and they're going to get him in a rundown. Now Terang running at the runner at third. Throws behind him, and they got him! Durbin applied the tag! Wow! Beautifully executed by the Brewers, and now I think John Lipka's coming in, and they're going to call they're going to award the runner home. And Pat Murphy is already out, and he is arguing with James Hoy.
They called obstruction. We'll break it down, I promise, but that allowed a run to score, making it 3-2. It would have been all for naught if it wasn't for the eighth inning when the Brewers get Rhys Hoskins up with 2 outs and a man on second base.
Asking for another big swing here. And a liner into left. That's going to get down for a base hit. Terang racing around third. Here's the throw. Oh, it's not in time. And the Brewers have tied the game at 3 on an RBI single from Rhys Hoskins.
Huge. They would actually get a walk to Sal Frelick. Monasterio's out running for Hoskins. First and second, 2 outs, but Durbin would fly out to the warning track and left. Just missed a hanging breaking ball. In the bottom of the eighth, it was Jared Koenig's inning. A leadoff single by Christopher Morel, then a single by Junior Caminero, and then the things got crazy. Strikeout, walk, strikeout, bases loaded, 2 outs against Taylor Walls.
3-2 pitch, and he missed inside. He walked him. It was a sinker at 95. It was just a touch in, and the Rays take the lead. It is 4-3. Tampa Bay, and Ricky Weeks is out of the dugout, and he's going to take the ball from Jared Koenig.
And that is what the final score was. A really frustrating game to digest. The Brewers fall. They never had a multi-run lead in this game. A 4-3 final today in the opener against the Rays. We'll hear from Craig Kashan. We'll break it down, and we'll hear from you. 855-616-1620, the phone number. 855-616-1620 on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Summer's getting closer, and Brewers action at American Family Field is only heating up. Don't miss a Midwestern throwdown between the Brewers and the Twins, May 16th through the 18th. Get a Jedi Jack Centurio Star Wars night bobble with a special theme night ticket on the 16th. Then get here early for an exclusive Brewers cribbage board giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on the 17th. Presented by 620 WTMJ. Get tickets at Brewers.com.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double-check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family-owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Cubs fans are booing as if that was intentional. The bases are loaded, nobody's out. And it was a slider. Come on.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
Humiliated. You got shut up by the White Sox, now by the Cubs. The fibs. You know, am I allowed to say that on the radio? Well, I just did. You can say anything once in the words of Bob Uecker.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
What's up, Wisconsin? WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great idea for your weekend. Hang out with us as we explore our state. We go all around the state, talk to all sorts of cool people, tell you the events that are coming up, how to get there, what to do. We check in all over the place. This week on Experience Wisconsin, it is Hayward Lakes and Road America. Man, Road America is gearing up. This is going to be a fantastic season. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on 620 WTMJ.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
You'll find that the licensed and certified electricians from Quality are top-notch. We've been around for over 60 years, so expect nothing but the best. And here's the kicker. With over 60 vehicles out there on the roads, you're not going to have to wait very long at all for the electrical service you need now. This is Anthony Zanevsky. For all your residential electrical needs, call Quality.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. At Quality, we offer the most respected brand names in heating and air conditioning. Armstrong and Carrier. It doesn't get any better. And our technicians are top-notch. I know, because I handpicked every one of them. They're vetted and thoroughly trained. Hey, they're the cream of the crop. And that's why our quality workmanship guarantee is the strongest in the business.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings as the Brewers fall 4-3 in the opener in Tampa. Milwaukee, looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs? Look no further than Fifth Third Bank. With a local team right here in Milwaukee, they know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that helps your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. Craig Kashan is here in just a moment. A couple of texts that I've rolled in here, 855-616-1620. This one from the 414. This was one of the worst games they've played all year. Errors, poor hitting, and worst of all, looking for some leadership. Just plain sloppy. You can try to spin it, but we all saw it. Poor effort. I'm never going to critique someone's effort. I do appreciate, folks trying to call it like they see it. I do agree. There's a spark. There's something missing. And even Pat Murphy has talked about it. Misplacing their edge. The lack of wind tonight. We talked about it yesterday on Brewers Weekly that when this game was 2-2 or when this game was not going their way, the intensity never turned up, even after Murph got ejected. The only guy that really, Reese getting the game-tying hit, but again, we'll talk about the offense and the lack thereof and not having an extra base hit. Once again, it's a pretty simple formula of why it's not going well right now for the Crew. They're not getting extra base hits. Their bullpen is being asked to move mountains every single night. And I thought Quintana pitched well. It wasn't necessarily his fault, but it's because the defense is making them get extra outs every single night. And this is not the Brewers baseball that we're used to. But again, the way I view it is these are fixable things. But when you get deeper into the season, it's like, okay, why hasn't it been fixed yet? So the Brewers have a chance to win the series still, right? We've seen them lose game one of a series and then win the next two. So we're going to withhold judgment until the end of the weekend in that regard. We're just going to focus on this game at hand. This text from Tom in Pewaukee. Aside from Hoskins tying it in the eighth inning, this felt like every Brewers game this entire season. Defensive miscues, an obstruction call against us, the offense struggling to get much going, and a lead blown by walks from a very good bullpen that is forced to be perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about there, Tom. Appreciate the conversation there. So the obstruction call, I think, is going to dominate the headlines today, and we'll talk about that kind of here in the beginning once Craig joins us here. But the first thing that I want to make very, 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 very clear, umpires have an extremely hard job. I'm not trying to tear down tonight's Crew, umpires in general, the rule book. I want to make this extremely clear. The Brewers did not lose this game because of the obstruction call. It's a factor, but it's not the reason they lost. It wasn't the bottom of the ninth, and the game ended because of that call. That is not that scenario. That all being said, something needs to be solidified, clarified, just made simpler about this obstruction rule. Because just last night, as Craig is now with us, just last night, I'm watching Braves-Reds, and Ozzie Albies' knee is on second base, and they don't call obstruction. I'm watching Matt Chapman have his foot right in the middle of third base 2 weeks ago in San Francisco. That's not called obstruction. I am watching Blake Perkins slide into Nico Horner's cleats at second base, and that's not called obstruction. But tonight, with a player straddling the bag, it's called obstruction. I don't know what it is. So, Craig, Can you explain to me what it is? Because I'm still trying to figure this out. This isn't like I don't know. Like I'm genuinely asking, what is obstruction?
Well, look, man, I don't know what it is either, and I think that's the worst part about this. That any judgment call like this in baseball, and I understand this is how a lot of the rules were created, and they're trying to be policed. But I still say in this world of reviewable calls, I think every call should be reviewable. You cannot tell me that some calls shouldn't be reviewable. You just can't do that, not in this day and age. So A, that's one problem, but B, the biggest problem is it falls under a judgment call. So, as bang bang as that play is for the players on the field trying to pull it off, it's just as bang bang for the umpires. I mean, that play went so fast, I can't imagine how anybody could get a spot in front of a bag and try to block it like they called Durbin for. It just doesn't make any sense to me. The other thing that doesn't make any sense to me, Dom, with this whole obstruction or whatever on the bases, I don't think the end result of the play should be advancing the runner if the play is at that bag. If a player is trying to steal second base and he is blocked and obstructed at second base, he should automatically just be awarded second base. I don't understand the advancement of the base here when clearly the play for this guy was at third base and trying to become safe. So, the worst part about trying to explain this and giving our opinion on it too is there's just not enough to put together to make sense of this. So I said it on our post-game TV show. I said this play and this mess that baseball has right now, it is horribly inconsistent, that call right now that they're trying to implement and police right now in this game. It just they got to fix something here. They just got to fix something.
The reason I'm perturbed by it is because if you are consistent with it, I can understand, okay, then yeah, that looked like obstruction. But because you're not consistent with it, because I literally have seen guys' knees block the bag and it's not called still without the baseball. That's the key in all this. Without the ball is what they're trying to call. And I wonder if there's a way that we can fix this in the middle of the year, if we can make it reviewable in the middle of the year, because in the eyes of the rule, it's got to be clear, egregious, and violent. That was not the case for Caleb Durbin tonight. He's straddling the bag. There's a spot for him to slide straight there. And if you're saying because he made a bad base running play and now Durbin has to scramble and cover the bag and now the runner gets bailed out because he made a bad play, that's terrible. Terrible, terrible. That's why I'm mad at the inconsistency of all of this. And if you're changing the scoreboard, you got to know you have it right. I don't know for a fact if Caleb Durbin or not should be considered for obstruction right there. Nonetheless, it's called, but the next time it happens, I won't know if it's for sure because, well, this time when he was straddling the bag, it was, but that time when his foot was in front of the bag, it wasn't. That's where I think we're all at right now because if you don't have consistency and if you don't have trust in the rule, then you have nothing because you have nothing to go off of to make sure you get it right the next time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a pathetic situation, to be honest with you. It just is. I think everyone who's mad about it has a right to be mad about it. And in the fact, too, Dom, that you bring up what's going to happen next time. How is Durbin supposed to man the bag over there next time? Why in the last 2 weeks has this happened to Milwaukee base runners and they get nothing for it? And it's truly more of an obstruction than we saw here tonight as well. So I'm at a loss, my friend. I'm as frustrated as anybody. Watching these games, I was just talking to Tim Dillard about this a couple of minutes ago before I joined you, Dom. This is the kind of stuff, if you're a baseball fan or you're a younger baseball fan right now trying to enjoy this game and try to understand it, this is what makes confusion. This is what makes you not want to watch it as much because guess what? that play, if you figure out how to understand how defense works on that double steal attempt and how perfectly executed it was by that Brewer defense, this is where you start losing interest in, well, they ran the play well. I mean, they ran it perfectly. If you were to show this, in an instruction video, this is how exactly it gets done. Whether the runner was safe or not over at third base, this is how you do it. And now you're taking away a true art of baseball, and it's how you execute your defense. So this kind of stuff is just I'd like to say it needs to be fixed, but it's not going to be fixed. I mean, we're going to have to live with this, I'm sure, for a while, and something else is going to pop up that we're going to be frustrated with. I guess that's how life rolls, right?
What is it about Brewers, Rays, and umpires? I don't know what it is the last couple of seasons. It seems like all this seems to pop off. Let's actually talk about the game. Let's shift gears and talk about why the Brewers actually lost this game. So all that obstruction talk aside, that's not the reason the Brewers lost. So let's break that down next here on 620 WTMJ.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, Milwaukee's medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Weekend appointments available. Call now. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Outdoor Living Unlimited. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. We install anything decks and more. Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers fall 4-3 with Craig Deshawn on Dom Cotroneo. Game 1 of a 3-game series, so we'll withhold judgment until the weekend is over. But this game at hand, it's a great start. You get out to a 1-0 lead, and then you look at it. The 4 runs scored, Craig, were directly attributed to Brewers' uncharacteristic mistakes, right? You get Churio's error in the 3rd inning that leads to a run, which the next 3 batters were all retired in order by Jose Quintana. Then you have a homer, which that's a homer, right? Tip your cap, that's a run, that's legit. Then you have the obstruction call that we just talked about, so that's 2. And then you have a bases-loaded walk, that's 3. And furthermore, the Brewers had 3 errors in this game, one of them being the obstruction, 2 errors in the 7th inning that Grant Anderson somehow pitched around. Top to bottom, there needs to be something flipped on the defensive side of the ball because what seemed like a blip and what seemed like a good time for a team meeting back in San Francisco, it hasn't taken a turn. There are still little things being not done to the Brewers standard that needs to happen for them to win more games.
Yeah, I mean, they're making some great plays at times, and they're making some bad plays at times. And I think the whole timing of it is when their errors, to me, lately their errors are scoring runs. They're not leading to runs later. They're actually scoring runs like we saw tonight. We've seen it recently in the last couple of weeks as well. Those are the ones that bite you, because there are times where, if your pitcher's dialed in and your defense is solid enough to make up for the error, you can erase those base runners. But it hasn't been happening here. And the whole timing of the thing, like I said, that, in this game, and we've seen it, these errors, a run is coming home to score on that play. And those are the toughest of all, because you're out there to make the play. You're out there because a runner is in scoring position, and it has not gone in their favor. That's for sure. I don't know why this is happening this year. I really don't. I mean, I could guess that, to me, I think this team in one of two ways misses Willie Adames to be, the captain of getting all of his mates together and making sure defensively they're going to stay strong and they're doing their job and they're in the right position and they're not going to panic on a play, whatever the case may be. The other one, it just could be that, they do have a new shortstop. They do have a trio of outfielders right now, for the most part, that are playing maybe out of position, a new position. It's tough to put. They have a new third baseman as well. So they don't have a lot of things going in their favor as far as having consistent players from year to year right now. But they have hung their hat on playing good defense, because that's what they teach and preach. And this year it has been rough.
Well, then let's flip things over to the offensive side of the baseball, right? The Brewers once again had a game today where they did not have an extra base hit. And we knew the home runs were going to be few and far between coming into this season. And we've talked about William Contreras not supplying the power, and now we know why. It's because of that finger and not being able to maybe provide power. Granted, today he hit a ball 112 off the bat, which was his second hardest hit ball of the year, which is a great sign. But yes, walks are good. Yes, putting the ball in play is good. But sometimes at the end of the day, I just need some good old-fashioned slug. And if Contreras isn't going to provide it, Yelly's still tied for the team lead in homers. Chourio with him as well. Reese had a good game, but if we're being honest, there needs to be a little bit more slug here from some of those 1 through 5 guys in this order.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you and I were watching the game together in that fourth inning when they got what do they have, first and third, nobody out, and Hoskins, who has been swinging a good bat. I mean, I'm not taking that away from him, but I think that the gap power hasn't been there. The occasional home run, he's got 4. But you're right, a guy like that, okay, he strikes out. You got to lift that ball and hit it right into the outfield. You need a sacrifice fly in that. So clearly, this example that I'm going with and you're leading to is they don't have a go-to RBI guy. They just don't.
And that was Willie last year.
And it was Willie last year. It was absolutely 100%. And it was a large part of Contreras' game as well. So, yeah, they're really missing that badly. There's no doubt about it. And you're not going to win more games than you lose right now the way they're putting the ball in play. They're getting infield hits every once in a while definitely helps you, but it's not going to add up to a ton of victories here right now. And I'm not sure it's going to make them a playoff contender at this point as well. I mean, they've been hovering around 500, since that awful start in New York and losing the home opener, but they're still kind of stuck there. And offensively, they're in the mud a little bit. Let's face it.
Yeah, you can't make the entire season here on May 9th. And it brings up an interesting point that I was researching earlier today. So Yelly's below the Mendoza line right now. His batting average is below 200. He prides himself as actually still caring about his batting average. And the last time that he was below the Mendoza line in May was 2015 with the Marlins, only his second full season in the big leagues. He still finished that season hitting 300 on the dot. In his first 130 plate appearances, he was hitting 195. In his last 400 plus, he got up to 300. I think that's a good example of saying, look, There is still 400 or so plate appearances left for a lot of these guys to turn around their seasons, Yelly included. But sooner as opposed to later, right? You want to see the offense start churning like maybe you envisioned it, and maybe it was supposed to, with some doubles mixed in there. Today was the third game this year for the Brewers that they don't have an extra base hit. To be able to have a home run here and there, to have a feared hitter coming up like, oh man, this guy can go yard at any time. Unfortunately, right now, the Brewers don't have that guy.
They don't, but you know what? They have a mix of players that can do something. Actually, a lot of these guys that can do much better than what we've seen so far, and they know that. I mean, you and I aren't sitting here going, this guy's terrible, that guy's terrible, he's not doing his job or whatnot. They're capable of a lot more because they've done it in the past somehow. There are some new guys, I get it, but we know who those guys are, and you know this game of baseball is funny too, Dom. I mean, we both know sometimes you need one or two guys to get hot, and then that's going to get the other guys rolling a little bit too. I think they're playing a little bit tight perhaps offensively. I'm not even sure that's it, but collectively, just not to be able to drive the ball on a consistent basis right now is it's perplexing to say the least.
Can I leave you with a depressing stat?
Oh, please do.
Where do you think the Brewers rank for their 7, 8, 9 hitters across Major League Baseball in batting average and OPS? Again, 7, 8, 9 combined. Where do you think they rank?
I would say not high, Dom. Not high.
30th. Last
That is not
place.
high.
That is not high. A 551 OPS and a 196 batting average. That's worse than the White Sox, worse than the Angels, worse than the Marlins, worse than the Rockies. I mean, the 7, 8, 9 is a spot that gets the fewest plate appearances, but on another day where the only hit out of that spot, the only base runner out of that spot was a bunt base hit by Caleb Durbin and then an RBI. 1 for 12 combined. Doesn't matter who you're facing. You still need to get some sort of contribution from the bottom third of your lineup.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, this lineup today alone has 2 regular starters that were below 200, not even at 200. I just didn't think that I would see that, to be honest with you. I thought this team was going to, at least get on base at a much better percentage than they are here right now, but certainly not. I mean, we've seen a lot of bunt attempts too, my friend, and that I'm fine with the bunt. I always have been, but we've turned pretty quickly on that being kind of a weapon, and I'm a little surprised by that, to be honest with you.
I agree. And maybe you're not catching teams by surprise. We don't always see where the third baseman's playing when you're watching on television on these road games. At home games, you can see it a little easier, right? Third baseman can be creeping in and makes it a little tougher. We saw Durbin drop down a good one. We saw a swinging bunt, but the Brewers are going to have to get creative these next 2 games. They're facing 2 more righties, Taj Bradley and Drew Rasmussen, who have even more swing and miss stuff than the guy they faced today. So, kind of put up or shut up. It's time to go. You're facing the American League in this stretch. Try to prove that the National League is superior by winning a road series. Well, Craig, we'll talk to you again tomorrow, and hopefully with a little more positivity behind us, right?
You got that right, Dom. Sounds good. Let's go get him.
All right. I'm actually going to talk about some pitching next because I thought it wasn't all bad. We got to talk about Quintana. We got to talk about Anderson. That's coming up on the other side of the break. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. 855-616-1620. Also want to remind you about Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Summer's coming fast. Are you ready? Get a new air conditioning system from Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical for $0 down, no payments, and 0% interest for 9 months. Plus, you can save $1,500. Book your appointment today at Cider, SEIDER.com while the deal lasts. Take a break. Back with more after this on WTMJ.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ishnala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ishnala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ishnala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
So let's try to change things up. Let's talk a little better stuff of what we liked about today's game, despite talking about all the little mistakes that plagued the Brewers today. I thought Jose Quintana pitched very well once again today. And you may, complain or moan about the fact that why was he pulled in the middle of the sixth inning? Well, if the offense had scored him more runs, then maybe he gets a longer leash. But because you're trying to win tonight, you got to go to your best relievers. You're off and off day. You got a fresh bullpen. It was all working against Quintana to stay in that game because he was trying to maintain it as a 2-2 score, and it goes back to what we were talking about with Craig. You had men on the corners and nobody out, and you had bases loaded, one out, and he only scored one run out of that situation in the fourth inning. So that could have helped Quintana go later into the game. But nonetheless, Quintana continues to be as advertised, and he had 2 walks. One of them he erased on a great double play turned by Terang and Ortiz to get Chandler Simpson, the fastest guy in the big leagues. And it's a reminder of when the Brewers play sound defense, they are the best. And that's an example how quick that turn was from Terang to get it to Ortiz, and Ortiz's arm strength and a good stretch from Hoskins. Like, those little things all add up to get a guy who can run a sub-4 home the first time. Like, that is elite freakish speed. So it's within them, and Quintana helps get it out of them. That was his 6th double play turn behind him in just his 6th start as a Brewer. But nonetheless, you tip your cap on a solo homer by Brandon Lau. I mean, he came into the day just 2 for 28 against left-handed pitching, and he goes yard. I mean, that wasn't on the scouting report. Congrats to him. He's a heck of a hitter. But then you look at, he handled Yandy Diaz going 0 for 3. He would love to have that leadoff walk back from Christopher Morel, especially given the fact it was a 2-2 count, and we know Morel from his Cubs days as being a free swinger. But yet, he didn't allow any extra base hits aside from the home run by Lau. He had the big error in center and had a man on third with nobody out, didn't allow him to score. Had the comebacker, handled it no problem. At one point in that third inning, he really suckered in the Rays to swinging more because of the fact that in the 13 pitches he threw in that third inning, they swung at 12 of them. Think about that for a second. He understood. All right, well, I'll keep making sure I get in weak contact, that sort of thing. Obviously didn't get any help from Chourio in center, but I thought Quintana was fantastic, deserved better fate. He gets a no decision. Mears, once again, with all the chaos that happened around him, that was all during his inning there in the 6th inning. He's again available tomorrow because he only threw 8 pitches. He's only thrown 30 pitches over his last 5 outings. And with all this stress, and he's become the fireman, fear the Mears, whatever you want to call him, he's been continuing to do his role well. William Contreras threw out another runner, a pickoff, a back pick all the way to second base. He has thrown out 11 runners this season now. That's bonkers, and he leads baseball. He's the only guy in double figures. But then, Grant Anderson. I thought this was the performance of the night, given everything that went against him. First batter, Curtis Mead, right on right, ground ball to third, does his job. Nope, Durbin, E5. First error for Caleb Durbin. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll battle back. I got this. Taylor Wall is the next batter. He falls behind 3-0, battles back to 3-2, then a foul ball pop up in the on-deck circle with the runner in motion. I don't know if Contreras was peeking and thinking, I can throw out this guy at first if I catch this ball quickly enough. Instead, he drops the baseball. It's an E2, and then ultimately a walk. So Grant would like to have the walk back, but at the same time, he felt like he's already got 2 outs in the inning. Instead, it's 2 men on and nobody out. The Brewers make a great play on the bunt attempt from Caballero. Rhys Hoskins read it beautifully. They had the play on. They throw out the force runner at third. Sacrifice bunt failed. First and second, 1 out for the speedy Chandler Simpson. You got to fear if the bunt was still on. It was not. He flies out, and then Anderson gets Yandy to ground out innocently and end the frame. That was huge. And I talked about it yesterday on Brewers Weekly, the 4 horsemen, if you will, of Mears, of McGill, of Koenig, of Uribe. Anderson's right there. I mean, if he's not in the 4 horsemen, he's on the pony coming up fast right behind them. Okay, so Grant Anderson continues to impress, and I want to give him kudos there. And what went wrong in the 8th inning for Jared Koenig? It's pretty simple. Both walks, he was ahead, and he got afraid of his fastball. He got ahead 0-2 on Danny Jansen after he swung at the first 2 fastballs, spit on the next 3 curveballs, fouled off another fastball, walk. So from 0-2 to 3-2, walk, and then ultimately the game-winning run. Was ahead 1-2 on Taylor Walls, wasn't able to get the swing and miss on him, ultimately walking him. This is the big leagues, man. Margins matter. Every little thing matters. And as we've seen in these first 38 games, 39 games for the Brewers, the other team can take advantage of you not performing on the margins. And that's what the Brewers did all last season. That's what I think Brewers fans understand, and why they're so frustrated is because the Brewers are losing games the way they won games a season ago, taking advantage of teams not being able to defend that first and third play, right? Think about how many times the Brewers executed that perfectly, and every single time the other team looked like they saw a ghost. The Brewers today execute it so they thought, then the obstruction call pulls that back. Or even yet, you think about all the times that the Brewers just steal bags. Chourio stole 2 bags today, and he got 3 hits, nothing really to show for it. He scored once in the first inning. But the Brewers were able to use their defense, steal outs, be able to throw out base runners like we're seeing from William right now, and it's just kind of going for nothing. So the sooner they can operate more efficiently on the margins, then we can make a better judgment of this team as they fall back to 1 game below 500. We're all trying to figure out what they're made of, and the Brewers, quite frankly, still are. And their manager, who was ejected for the first time this season, Pat Murphy, is too. Text here from Doug, you can't keep winning 3, then losing 3. Last time I looked, that's a 500 team. And if the defense doesn't improve, they will end up under 500. That text from Doug. I agree. You know, I love that the fan base has made it clear 500 isn't good enough. That's a great energy and a great standard to keep. Keep that up because this team doesn't feel like they should be 500 either. They have not played to their standard. They could have been worse, but yet they're still showing that their floor is 500. Think about that for a second. This team's floor, as bad as it has gone in these first 40 games or so, 500's their floor. So it has to find a way to improve moving forward. We'll hear from the manager coming up next. He had an early trip to the locker room today. Brewers fall in the first game in Tampa. 4-3 the final. Back with more after this on 620 WTMJ.
So he said to me, boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders? And I said, you betcha. And he said, do you mind if I cherry pick? And I said, feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right. Because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Summer's getting closer, and Brewers action at American Family Field is only heating up. Don't miss a Midwestern throwdown between the Brewers and the Twins, May 16th through the 18th. Get a Jedi Jackson Churio Star Wars night bobble with a special theme night ticket on the 16th. Then get here early for an exclusive Brewers cribbage board giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on the 17th. Presented by 620 WTMJ. Get tickets at brewers.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Yeah, when you say your Hassleus mattress showrooms are employee-free, you don't really mean it, right?
Of course we mean it. No employees. Give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why no employees?
To save you money.
How much money?
Well, others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove B Queen for $16.59, but the everyday Hassleus price is just $8.42.
Whoa, Nelly.
We also have way low pricing on our selection of Sealy Posturepedic and more.
Well, that's pretty good.
And through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress in any size and receive a free adjustable base.
That's exceptionally good.
Plus, free next day delivery, removal and setup of your new mattress, and free financing is available too.
All because your showrooms are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you do business.
Get a free adjustable base now through Monday at Hassleus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Get all the details and find the self-service employee-free showroom near you at hassleus.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
0-2 is a ground ball. Hard hit to second base. Terang pivots and throws to second. Back to first. In time! Oh, the Brewers turned a double play against Chandler Simpson.
One of the fastest guys in the show is the second time he's actually bounced into a double play this season. The call from Lane Grindle. It's our Surfside play of the game. Brought to you by Surfside, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside iced tea and vodka. Surfside lemonade and vodka. Paired perfectly with a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Well, Pat Murphy was certainly still frustrated. And here's what he had to say to the assembled media tonight in Tampa.
I've watched it in the video many times, and, the umpires have a tough job of calling. They've been a couple of years been saying let's call obstruction and get rid of the egregious. It says that in the rule, egregious and purposeful kneeling down in front of the base and taking it away. He was in front of the base. The kid clearly slid underneath him. The kid was safe. He made the out call. Then he called the obstruction. Like, that's not the sequence it's supposed to be. But regardless, they have a lot on their plate, and I think this is the second time in a couple days we've gotten this call that had no bearing on the play. The kid's hand didn't go into anybody else. The kid clearly got to the base fine. It didn't obstruct him from going to the base, and they still make the call because they say we're mandated to make the call. But then you can pick out 30 other calls, and then they say, well, it's too much for us to look at. So the bottom line is it changed the game. We had a momentum going. Mears came in, got the big out. There was 2 outs. They're trying to steal a run, and we executed perfectly, and we get that call against us and the run scores. It's just, it's unfortunate. It's clearly not what the rule was intended to do, because he clearly put his hands back into the base with no problem, no obstruction. The fact that the guy was standing in front of it, a rundown was ensuing. All I'm going to tell you, I still disagree with it, and they'll tell me I'm wrong, because anytime you argue it, they tell you you're wrong, and they give you their judgmental opinion. And bottom line is, you never can be right, and then you get a fine, and then nobody says a word.
Is part of that too, Murph? It's not reviewable, so they can't take another look at it.
It's not reviewable. And if they did review it, they'd say he was in front of the base. So technically, we could call it, in the judgment of the umpire, was it done on purpose? I mean, all that, it's a bad rule, and it costs us a game. And just like the other rule of Jackson purposely getting away with the throw, it's a judgment call, and when they want to call it against you, they feel like it, they do it.
Or if you feel like that one can cost you the game?
I mean, it was one of the factors in the game because the momentum was shifting towards us. We came in, first and third one out. Mears punches a guy out. He's done that the last few times. He gets the next guy out. Big momentum change. We're still tied going in, top of our order coming up. I feel like that was a turning point. But, you got to finish the game. And, one call doesn't make a game, shouldn't make a game. But that was a critical one and a very big momentum change for us.
You guys did answer there in the next inning, too, tied it up, and Koenig just kind of lost the zone, it looked like, a little bit there. I don't know how much you saw from back here. But
No, I saw every pitch. Yeah.
Murph, what about on that Chourio play? What did you guys see? The funky hop, or did he just kind of overrun it?
Yeah, I think he got stuck out there. I think he's not used to the grass and the way it was bouncing and stuff. And, it took a funky hop. That's another play that changed the game.
Quintana was so efficient through the first 5. What do you think of how he got through their lineup?
Yeah, he's good, man. He's a consummate pitcher and pitched out of a jam, and he gets it, he was, once again, really effective for us.
What kind of feedback did William give on the pain tolerance with that new glove? Was there any things?
He said it's a little better. Yeah, he said it's a little better.
Well, that's a good sign. I mean, again, he did hit a ball with the bat, 112 off the bat, 1 for 3 day at the yard with a run scored and a run batted in. So getting William back on track is going to be a very high priority for the Brewers for the rest of this month, and seeing how much of that pain he really can play through from the fracture in his left middle finger. Brewers fall today 4-3, but what a story it could be. They can win the next 2 and still win the series. So let's start to preview that series. Let's take a quick lap around the out-of-town scoreboard as we get ready to say goodnight here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Ready for an exciting change? At Merle Norman, we can take your look from ordinary to extraordinary in a matter of minutes. Our innovative skincare, perfectly matched foundations, and on-trend colors will make a difference that's written all over your face. Come in and see what a makeover can do. We'll help you select products that are just right for you, and we'll teach you tips that pros know about applying your most flattering shades. Ask for your free express makeover today at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square.
Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code EARN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Outdoor Living Unlimited. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech decking installer. We install anything decks and more. Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hey, Debbie. Southbound 794. There was just an accident. Right now, it looks like at least one lane is closed.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, on the WTMJ traffic tip line, 414-238-9329.
Highway 45 southbound. A tire came off of a car.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
Northbound 41 at Burleigh. 3 vehicle accident just happened in front of me.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
All right. You can still want it till midnight. Then we move on. Tomorrow, on the air at 2 o'clock, I've got you covered for Brewers warm-up. First pitch scheduled for 3:05 Central Time. Then spend your Mother's Day with us. Your mom's a Brewers fan. Come on, hang out with us here on Sunday. First pitch is at 12:05. Coverage will begin at 11. As the Brewers will send right-hander Tobias Myers. Kind of a hometown start for him. He is from Central Florida, but about 45-minute drive from Tampa. He's going to have a lot of friends and family watching him pitch down there. So excited for him tomorrow against Taj Bradley for the Rays. One bit of news. Sunday, it will be Chad Patrick going up against former Brewer Drew Rasmussen. And then Freddie Peralta will start on Monday. He threw a bullpen today, and it's all systems go, according to Freddie and Pat Murphy. So that's some good news there. Real quick, not really a full out-of-town scoreboard here, but down on the farm, I want to point out one score down there in AAA Nashville for the Brewers. Have you seen Jacob Mizorowski's final line today and what he's been doing so far this season? Well, let me read it for you. 6 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. He struck out 8 of the first 9 batters he faced tonight against the Norfolk Tides. And that's a team that's got some talent on it. Kobe Mayo's on it, former big leaguer V-Mile Machine on it. The Orioles farm system is still very good. And Jacob Mizorowski just mowed them down, working a career-high 6 2/3 into the 7th inning. He threw 99 pitches. So now in AAA, since getting the rejection letter that, hey, you're not going to be considered for the big league rotation, he is 3-0, a 1.49 ERA, 42 innings, 54 strikeouts, 18 walks. We have seen tangible improvement from Jacob Mizorowski with his command. Now, he had 4 walks in his last start, but he's just not allowing hits still as well. 3 of his last 4 starts, he's allowed 1 walk or fewer. Very good sign. Monitor Jacob Mizorowski the rest of the season. So I've got you covered tomorrow. Brewers warm up at 2 o'clock. And I'll be with you after the game as well for Brewers Extra Innings, reacting to Game 2 of Rays and Brewers. Our producer tonight has been Matt Yazel. I am Dom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
Hey, WTMJ's John Burke here for Colders. Listen to this testimonial from a real